Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure to like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Now, this is not entirely a video that is solely about Glenn Youngkin. Yes, we want Glenn Youngkin to win, but it's more about the significance of a Youngkin victory, why we need a Youngkin victory more so than anything else, why we need it, because our morale has been crushed on the right for so long, even electorally speaking. When it comes to our actual policy victories, I don't necessarily believe that we're going to get a massive policy victory because Glenn Youngkin now is going to be potentially the governor of the state of Virginia. However, this could lead to a domino effect that could actually get us one because, let's be honest, what major policy victory has the right gotten since like the 1950s? We've only gotten really one, and that was the end of the Cold War, the downfall of the Soviet Union. That's why a lot of people on the right look up to Reagan because of nostalgia, because they either live in the eternal present or they live in the past. And I say it time and time again. You have one victory since 1957. You are the political equivalent of the Detroit Lions. That is embarrassing. The left gets a victory every other week. Even when they don't control a single chamber in government, they still manage to get victories. And obviously, a Youngkin victory itself is not necessarily going to get us a massive nationwide policy victory. Obviously, we know that. And we do know that Glenn Youngkin is probably not going to be the most conservative governor in the nation. Obviously, he represents a state like Virginia. However, the morale on the right needs to improve moving forward significantly. And when it comes to electoral politics, when was our last major electoral victory? Have we gotten one since 2016? Have we gotten an upset? I can point to many Democrat morale boosters, whether if it was taking back the House in 2018 with a massive 45-seat blue wave, or if it was the 2018 Pennsylvania special election, which flipped a Trump plus 20 seat into Democrat hands, or whether if it was the 2017 special election in the state of Alabama, or whether if it was the miraculous 3 a.m. victory for Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential election, even when it seemed at, around midnight, a little bit before that, that Donald Trump was looked to actually have another upset. Obviously, these are all major victories that Democrats have had, including Kentucky in 2019. That was another upset in a way. I mean, it wasn't really that much of an upset according to polling, but it still was a massive statewide victory in a red state. When have the Republicans had the opposite? I mean, going back to 2016, what major political victory electorally have the Republicans even gotten since 2016? I mean, 2021, we haven't had any. I mean, we did overperform in Texas's 6th special election, but that's really not enough. What about 2020? I mean, yeah, we did better in like a place like Florida than expected. I mean, we had like silver linings in the 2020 election, but that wasn't a massive victory, obviously, given the circumstances. 2019, I mean, we had like a Supreme Court seat we flipped in Wisconsin, but like that really wasn't that big of a deal. 2018, we didn't do as bad in some Senate races as people thought, but that's not really anything massive. 2017, really nothing there either. I mean, you won a special election in a seat that was held by Republicans for so long. I mean, obviously, there really hasn't been one. I mean, you could point to like Mike Garcia's victory as a interesting thing that happened in the 2020 election cycle, but I don't even know if I mean, that's a stretch. That's a stretch. It's just one House seat, right? It's just one House seat. So you'd have to go back to 2016, even before that, like 2010 in Massachusetts. That was a massive morale booster, and it did eventually lead to momentum building. The energy factor continued. You had a massive 60-plus seat red wave in the 2010 midterms. And it is true that Republicans really didn't capitalize on that massive House majority, especially going into Trump's presidency. However, the tides have shifted in the right. And I really do believe that if we get it right this time, there's a greater chance that we can keep moving in the right direction and we can elect actual, authentic America First fighters, not these people that are bought out by the mega corporations into Congress. Therefore, we actually can start getting things done, especially as we carry the momentum from 2021 to 2022 to 2024, because the right's been afraid of power for so long. But I think that a lot of people are waking up. The tides are turning within the right, and you have politicians who watch my videos and other like-minded individuals, and they're starting to get it as well. And if we can continue moving the party in the correct direction, the authentic conservative direction, the national populist paleocon type of trajectory that it's currently on, then I really firmly do believe that we can actually have a future in this country. So we have to understand that morale can lead to momentum. 2009 and the victories Republicans saw in New Jersey and Virginia did lead to 2010's success. Democrats, the opposite in 2017 to 2018. The problem is now we have to learn from the mistakes of what happened after 2010, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're out of power. We can't do anything. And we have to focus on electoral politics right now, first and foremost. Obviously, we can, talk about things like critiquing Joe Biden. We could talk about political strategy in general. But right now, the right's main focus should be electoral politics, because that's how we can get the ball rolling. Not saying we can't talk about other things. Not saying we can't engage in other commentary, because we absolutely have to. We need to keep the right in check, and that really plays into this a lot. But when it comes down to that coupled with electoral politics, that should be our main focus right now. So why could Youngkin actually be important in terms of Virginia? I wanted to talk about this. And the first thing that really comes to mind is that the identities of states can change depending on who is their leader. You saw what happened in Florida. Ron DeSantis is effectively making Florida a likely Republican state every single election cycle. The Virginia Democratic Party took over control back in the day, and they've made it more and more Democrat. It's about time that we start to reverse the favor in the state of Virginia. The Virginia GOP has been down bad for so long. Youngkin seems to be the guy that may be able to revive it, which is good. And the identities of states can change. Like I said, depending on leadership, Republicans dropped the ball in California in the 1990s. Obviously, we could point to something like demographic change and talk about why that's made California bluer. And that's absolutely true. And I think it's disingenuous to ignore that. But at the same time, California's demography and Texas's demography are not entirely that different, to the point where leadership and the directions that the parties have taken have played a role. If California had a competent Republican Party all these years, and Texas had a more incompetent Republican Party, and Texas had a more competent Democratic Party, then it's possible that the states could have had two entirely different identities, depending on what industries they'd want to bring into the state, etc., etc. But Youngkin also, he can also enact policy on the ground that would benefit Virginia. He could reverse the gun control measures put into place by the Northam administration. He could actually take a stand against lockdowns and mandates. He could keep freedom. I think that that's important for a governor to do. As long as a governor is tough on like sanctuary cities, they just need to focus on the issues that affect everyday people in a state. Because national politics and state politics are entirely different. Because obviously you want a governor who is not going to coddle illegal aliens, that's not going to give them government benefits and things like that. But beyond that point, governors really can't do that much on immigration. Maybe like in Texas, it'd be nice to see Don Huffines get in there. Chad Don Huffines go out there, primary Greg Abbott, and build the wall, or try to build the wall. We'd like to see that happen. But national and state politics are a little bit different. And I think that Glenn Youngkin knows that, and he can actually do his best to change the state for the better. If he can do that, that would be a great thing. But we need to keep the guy in check. We need to keep him in check. He is not invincible. We need to hold him accountable. I see all these election mafia, right-wing basement caucus types start to look up to Youngkin like he's a savior of the party or he's a saint, and he's just not. He's not. The guy is a Republican in Virginia. He's a good fit for the state of Virginia, but we still have to keep him in check. We did not keep Donald Trump in check. It's true. I really wish that the right would have criticized Donald Trump a little bit more in the early stages of his presidency, but we were too focused on libs crying at inauguration more so than the forgotten men and women of this country that Donald Trump was elected to better their lives and things like that. And I'm not saying that Trump didn't better their lives in any capacity. What I'm saying was the right's attitude shifted, and Trump's administration had been co-opted by bad faith actors, many of whom vehemently opposed Donald Trump in 2016 for all the wrong reasons. So if Youngkin is going to go out there and he's going to start acting like Larry Hogan if he does get elected, or if he's going to go out there and start acting like Phil Scott, that's not acceptable. That's not a victory. You need to hold this guy accountable. He can go scorched earth if he needs to. I mean, it's Virginia. They only serve one term at a time. And if he can do that while still remaining popular in the state, just like Ron DeSantis did in Florida, maybe Virginia's political identity would not be that vastly different 4 years from then. Maybe he actually would be popular enough to potentially get elected to the Senate or something. I don't know. But still, Virginia is a blue state. But Republicans do have a high floor there, and growth there is slowed down a little bit compared to a place like Georgia or Colorado. So I don't know what's going to happen in the future of Virginia. It's probably still going to be a blue state, but if Youngkin can actually get in there and stop the bleeding, then I think that would only be helpful. But like I said, I do have my doubts, just as I have my doubts about pretty much every single politician. They fool us. They trick us into thinking they're going to be solid. They get in there. Many of them cave in, like Mike DeWine, for example, in the state of Ohio. Ohio should have one of the most right-wing governors in the entire nation. Yet you have one of the most liberal Republicans, arguably worse than somebody like Larry Hogan, who's the governor of Maryland. So like I said, politicians will stab us in the back. I don't know if Glenn Youngkin will, but what I will say is we have to hold him accountable. And like I said, if we can get him in there, though, and we can actually build momentum, hold him accountable, and Virginia could get their own Ron DeSantis-type governor, then that's a good thing. We're going to keep going forward into 2022 with a lot of momentum. They're not going to be able to know what to do with us. It's not going to matter. Republicans are going to go out there. They're going to gain 30, 40 seats in the House. They're going to build off of that momentum. They're going to take the House back. They're going to take the Senate back. And they're going to do it with good candidates. And then going into 2024, we're going to reclaim our White House. That's what's going to happen. So anyways, guys, get out and vote if you're in Virginia or New Jersey or pretty much anywhere where they have an election in the 2021 off-year cycle. And hopefully we can get it done. Hopefully we can get some upsets cracking. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.